be talking about the one-hand chord exercise. A dyad is a type of chord. That's just a fancy name for playing two notes at the same time, sometimes called double stopping. So some notes are easier to play on your handpan than others. If playing any kind of chords or two notes on your pan is a bit new to you, I've got a video on that. But if you're feeling quite confident of finding this L shape and finding those two notes, get going. So if you've been playing your handpan for a while, you'll notice that some of them sit really nicely under the hands. These two nearest you are super easy to play. But what about those things that are less easy to play? So I've got a little exercise, a workout for one hand crossing. And it's really, really simple. We're just walking up the pan. I'm just going to chat through the difficulties of each of the chord positions. The one nearest you, the difficulty is your own body. Depending on how spiky your elbow is, you might end up bopping yourself in the side as you come to play this. I tend to bring my elbow in as close as possible to get as much rotation as I can. Because of the size of my hands and the size of these two notes, I always want to be slightly offset. So instead of hitting right here in the middle, I can either go for a lower on one or this way around. And for this two notes nearest me, I tend to find this works well. So I bring my thumb up higher and my fingers down lower, so that I'm always hitting just off the center. The other option is to bring them both down. Dropping, coming below the side of the pan. So whatever way works for you in your hands, but making sure that you don't hit in the middle. Thumb and the finger are automatically different striking methods, so trying to get them balanced is a challenge. You don't want to hear. Or. And just shuffle around a little bit, play around, find where fits best for you. Because what you don't want is every time you come to play these two notes, you'd have to think about where to position your hand. You want to just get it super automatic. So have a bit of time. Next up, this one. Try and resist the urge to bring your elbow up like a little flappy bird. Firstly, it's more effort. And secondly, you look like you might take off. Again, everyone's got their own methods, but generally this kind of comes from a lot of stiffness and a lot of tension. So try and, while you will need to bring your elbow up a touch, try not to bring it too much, because you get a diagonal angle on your hands too. This one, it doesn't really work for me to come down low, so I tend to have my thumb a little higher and my fingers lower. It's the same on both sides, so have a practice with both. Now we enter the realm of issue and problem. So with these two, you can either come below. And again, it just depends on your physiology. No one is correct. But you either come below or rotate in this way. And this is where I advocate for the ring finger to start to get a little bit involved. This shape is very awkward for here, right? You're twisting against your whole body, your elbow and your wrist are going vice versa. So I suggest you have a little experiment. How does it feel to strike with your thumb and ring finger? To get a solid sound, you almost need to grip a tiny bit to the pan. I think this is a choice, whether you go upside down here or here. It might depend where you're going to or where you're coming from. But there's no way to get your hand around that way. So you really are definitely looking at coming overwards for these higher two. And unfortunately, they're the smallest notes as well. So getting a good, consistent sound over the top is challenging. If you play with your middle finger all the time, you may well be able to get your middle in. Or you might experiment with your ring. If you play with your pointer finger at all times, I personally find that hard to get those two down there. Maybe you've got a really strong pinky. Any which finger you use, and again, it may be a combination, you're probably going to be coming down. And that's the same for the rest of this side of the pan. got one more choice. Again, depending on where you're coming from, you might come in or shuffle all the way in close. If I was doing loads of stuff around here or perhaps on a different instrument at the same time, this would probably make this kind of thing makes more sense. If I'm playing over here as well for some reason, this feels more comfortable. So have a little experiment. Your hands will be different from mine, but just get used to putting them in these uncomfortable positions. Yeah, you might think, why would I ever do this when I could do that? And there may not be loads of times to do it. However, once you start to use multiple pans, or maybe some percussion, you want to at least be able to have the option to make these choices with your hand. You never want to be limited by your brain, by what your hands can do. So sometimes, you just gotta reach. Great, let's experiment going all the way around. We'll do 4 on each. And the other thing about these dyads is they don't all sound good. These ones, we're super used to those sounds, but these ones at the top and at the bottom, they're not gonna sound super pleasing to the ear. That's all right, we're not here to make a lovely sound. We're here for music. They're not always the same thing. Okay, we're just gonna do 4 on each, going around. Change. 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 Isn't it nice to end with that one? Go through and spend just as much time with your left hand. I won't do it all here in the video, but make sure you do it. And let's go the other way with our left hand. And again, even in these 4, it's totally fine to alternate and change your sounds, but you want to get really used to settling somewhere. Every time I go to play these ones, whoop, I want to know where my hand is going. Okay, left hand, the other way. Go! Change. 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 Let's put that into practice. We're just going to use our left hand to play some percussion on the side. This is an artificial reason because we're just doing it for an exercise, but this is one reason why you might need to do it all with one hand. And just to make it fun with our chord hand, let's play cha, 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 cha. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Go! Let's try it one more time, this time with a running quaver bass line in the right hand on the ding. So now we're going to get into some real trouble when we have to pass each other around here. Let's see how it goes. Go! Change. 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 So if you live with someone, they might be like, oh, why are you practicing that horrible noise? So apologise from me. But hopefully this will give you some more options, and it means that you can start to really do some creative things in your mind, leaping around. So that was my circle